Andrew Lost. In the Jungle. By J. C. Greenburg. Andrew's World. Andrew Double. Andrew is 10 years old, but he's been inventing things since he was 4. Andrew's inventions usually get him into trouble, like the time he accidentally took the water-bug underwater vehicle on a trip to the deepest place on Earth. Andrew's newest invention was supposed to save the world from getting buried in garbage. Instead, it squashed Andrew and his cousin Judy down to beetle size. They got hauled off to a dump, thrown up by a seagull, and carried off by a bat. Now they're flying across the Pacific Ocean on the back of a bird. Judy Double. Judy is Andrew's 13-year-old cousin. She's been snuffled into a dog's nose, pooped out of a whale, and had her pajamas chewed by a tyrannosaurus because of Andrew. Judy thought that nothing weirder could ever happen to her until today. Thud. The handy ultra-digital detective. Thud is a super-smart robot and Andrew's best friend. He has helped save Andrew and Judy from the exploding sun, the giant squid, and a monster asteroid. Now can he protect his tiny buddies from meat-eating plants, dinner plate-sized spiders, and shocking animals? The boa constrictor. This giant fake snake is Andrew's newest invention. Goa is sort of short for garbage goes away. The Goa is supposed to keep the world from getting buried in garbage by squashing rotting vegetables, green meat, and dirty diapers down to teensy-weensy specks. Unfortunately for Andrew and Judy, the Goa doesn't just shrink garbage. In 2 minutes and 1 stinky burp, the Goa can shrink anything and anyone. Uncle Owl. He's a super-secret scientist, Andrew and Judy's uncle, and Thud's inventor. Uncle Al is really smart, but is he smart enough to save his beetle-sized niece and nephew from the incredibly weird dangers of the Australian jungle? Even the trees are deadly. It's a jungle down there. I wonder where we are now, thought Andrew Double. Andrew, no bigger than a beetle, poked his head above a feather on the bird's back. A cold wind smacked his face as he peered at the earth far below. Wowzers schnauzers! Andrew shouted. I see green down there. It's land! Now maybe this bird will take a break. She's been flying over the ocean for ages. Another feather on the bird's back twitched. A pile of frizzy dark hair popped up and went wild in the wind. It was Andrew's 13-year-old cousin, Judy. Judy shook her hair away from her face. Fat chance, bug brain, she yelled above the wind. This bird is an Arctic tern. She's on her way to Antarctica. Unless Uncle Al gets our messages, we're penguin chow. Uncle Al was Andrew and Judy's uncle, and he was also a super smart, super secret scientist. Meep. Unkai I'll not call back yet, came a squeaky voice from Andrew's shirt pocket. It was Andrew's little silver mini robot and best friend, Thud. And penguin not eat bugs. Oh, great, groaned Judy. So we'll just turn into bug-sized ice cubes. The bird spread her wings wide and glided. She's going lower, said Andrew. Now Andrew could see a wide, sandy beach and a forest beyond. Looks like a deserted island, said Andrew. No op! No op! No op, said Thud. AU Australia. Continent. Australia, said Judy. Cities. People. Someone could find us. As the bird glided lower still, Andrew saw driftwood and heaps of seaweed on the beach. But he didn't see any people. Now the bird was flying over the forest. It looked like a bumpy blanket of green. Here and there, tall trees poked through. A river zigzagged through the greenness like a silver snake. The bird swooped down through the treetops and into the forest. At first Andrew could hardly see in the dim light under the leaves. His eyes were used to the brightness of the open sky. The air was alive with screeches and cries and cackles, chirps and whistles, and a sound like crazy laughter. The bird dove under huge fan-shaped leaves. "Look at this place," Judy said. "Nothing but tangles of trees and vines." "It's a jungle, Meep." "Rainforest," said Thud. "A Australian rainforest strange, strange, strange. Got plants and animals that not live any other place. Got most poisonous snakes in world. People found 86,000 kinsa insects. Found 10,000 kinsa spiders. People always finding new kinsa plants and animals. Maybe Druid and Udi find new stuff." "Neato mosquito," said Andrew. "Maybe I'll find a new kind of spider." "Ew," Judy groaned. 10,000 kinds of spiders are way too many, Meep." "Maybe Udi find new kind of plant," said Thud. "Rainforest got lots of plants. Make lots of oxygen for Earth. Lots of medicines come from rainforest plants." Judy rolled her eyes. "We don't need to find plants," she said. "We need to find people. Meep. Rainforest not got lots of people," said Thud. The bird slowed down. She settled herself on a branch midway up a tall tree. The air felt warm and damp against Andrew's skin. Andrew sniffed in the jungle smells: green leaves, sweet flowers, and something musty, like a wet basement. Andrew looked down to the floor of the rainforest way below. "We must be 6 stories above the ground," he said. "But at least we're on land again." "Let's get off this bird." "Chop chop," said Judy, before she heads for penguin country. Andrew climbed down through the feathers on the tern's back. He reached a long flight feather at the edge of a wing. He pondered. "We can jump from this feather to the branch below." Just then, the bird swiveled her head. Andrew saw his reflection in a shiny black eye. I wonder what Arctic terns eat," he said. "Meep. Eat little fish. Shrimp. Insects, too," said Thud. "Or insect-sized humans," said Andrew. He ducked under a flight feather and pulled it down tightly over himself. A pointy red beak dove into the feathers behind Andrew. Then it plunged into the feathers close to Andrew. The beak grabbed the bottom of one of the feathers. It nibbled along the edges right up to the tip. "Meep. Bird preen feather," said Thud. "Spread oil to keep feather dry. Preening make feather smooth for flying. Get rid of little bugs, too." The beak preened another feather even closer to Andrew. "Wowzers schnauzers," said Andrew. "We've got to get out of here." Just then, the red beak grabbed the feather he was clinging to and began to preen it. The beak pushed Andrew to the very tip of the feather. He was barely hanging on. That black eye was looking right at him. "She's hungry and I'm a bug," thought Andrew. He let go. 2 SSSSSS kiki. "Yarg," hollered Andrew, tumbling down and down. He waved his hands, frantically trying to grab a leaf or a vine. Finally, he snagged something with his right hand. "Wowzers schnauzers," cried Andrew. He was clutching a tall blade of grass. The forest floor was inches below. But he was dangling above something strange. It looked like a red and white tub covered with hairs. It was so big that beetle-sized Andrew could have taken a bath in it. "Holy moly," said Andrew. "What's that, Meep?" "Pitcher plant," said Thud. "Pitcher plant carnivorous. Eat meat. Got special juice at bottom of pitcher. Juice digest bug meat that fall inside plant. Like stomach digest pizza inside Druid." "Jumping gerbils," said Andrew. "A meat-eating plant, and I'm meat." He began walking his hands along the blade of grass to get away from the pitcher plant. Suddenly the blade bent. Andrew dipped lower. One of Andrew's legs slipped inside the pitcher. Oh, thought Andrew. He tried to pull his leg out, but the inside of the pitcher was too smooth and slippery. Andrew was sweat-ing. The screeching, cackling jungle noises made it hard to think. With his free leg, Andrew gave a mighty push against the outside of the pitcher plant. He got his other leg out. Phew, he sighed, still dangling from the grass. His ears picked up a new sound nearby. SSSSSSSS. Kee-kee-kee, kee-kee-kee. On the ground beside the pitcher plant, two gigantic black beetles were creeping toward each other. They were hissing and clicking. At the front of each beetle's head was a curved horn as long as the rest of its body. Holy moly, whispered Andrew. Those guys look as big as trucks, meep. Rhinoceros beetles, said Thud. Now the beetles' enormous horns were almost touching. They stopped. They stamped their clawed feet and wagged their armored heads. One beetle charged the other. They locked horns under Andrew's blade of grass. They shook their giant heads from side to side. The bigger beetle flipped the smaller one on its back. The feet of the smaller beetle clawed at the bigger beetle's head. Meep. Male rhinoceros beetles fight to get mate, said Thud. Horns strong, strong, strong. Can cut off head of other rhinoceros beetle. Watch out below, came a yell from above. Andrew looked up to see Judy tumbling through the air. Oomph! Judy landed on a taller blade of grass right next to Andrew. Her feet smacked the top of Andrew's head. Youch! He hollered. His stem bent lower. His feet clunked against the horn of the bigger beetle. SSSSSSSSSS, hissed the beetle. It reared up on its back legs. Its front legs clawed the air. The tip of its terrible horn touched Andrew's nose. YAAARGH, screamed Andrew. Andrew, shouted Judy. There's a bright green twig sticking out from the tree trunk behind you. Grab it. Andrew swung himself toward the tree. He spotted the twig and wrapped his legs quickly around it. Make room for me, yelled Judy, swinging herself at the twig. She slammed into it and scrambled on behind Andrew. Now climb a little way up the tree trunk, said Judy. Before we fall into the middle of this stupid beetle battle. Then we've got to call Uncle Al again. Andrew felt a jolt. Maybe we don't have to climb up the tree trunk, said Andrew. This twig is climbing. 3. The case of the killer tree. Cheese Louise, exclaimed Judy. It is climbing, Drud and Udi getting right on stick insect, said Thud. Rainforest got lots of insects that look like stick, look like twig. Got insects that look like leaf, too. Weirdamundo, said Judy, jiggling on the back of the skittering bug. Meep. Good disguise for prey animal, said Thud. Look like stuff around it. Disguise called camouflage. Hard for predator animal to find prey animal that got camouflage. Camouflage, shamouflage, said Judy. We could get bounced off this bug any minute. Call Uncle Al again, Thud. Okie dokie, said Thud. There were 3 rows of buttons on Thud's chest. All of them glowed green, except the big purple button in the middle. Thud pressed the purple button. It blinked 3 times and went dark. Meep. Unkai not answer, said Thud. He's probably on some super secret project, said Andrew. Judy groaned. Let's get off this stupid bug as soon as it stops, she said. We'll look for a safe place and wait till Uncle Al calls us. As the stick insect skittered up the tree, Andrew noticed that the tree trunk looked like a tangle of fat snakes. "This is a super strange tree," said Andrew. "Meep." "Strangler fig tree," said Thud. "Strangler," said Judy. "Meep." "Fig tree gotta strangle other tree to grow," said Thud. "Start when bird eat strangler fig fruit." "Bird fly." "Bird poop." "Fig seed fall into treetop." "Seed sprout." "Roots grow down to ground." "Get big, big, big." "Strangle tree underneath." "Roots turn into trunk for strangler figure." "Wowzers schnauzers," said Andrew. "Meat-eating plants." "Killer trees." "Weirdamundo," said Judy. All of a sudden, part of the gray-brown tree trunk above them seemed to whip around. It was scrambling toward them. Andrew squinted. He made out a lizardy head with fearsome spikes at the top. A row of spikes ran down its neck. "Yeah," screamed Judy. "Holy moly," yelled Andrew. "Eek!" squeaked Thud. "Forest dragon lizard. Eat stick insects." The creature's neck was puffing out. Its mouth opened a pink-purple cave surrounded by small, sharp teeth. Their stick insect turned away from the forest dragon. Then it was still as a statue. Judy gave it a little kick. "Get going! Giddy up! That monster is going to eat you." But the bug didn't move. Suddenly Andrew was getting soaked. His eyes were burning. His nose filled with a peppermint smell so strong it hurt to breathe. "Blurf," yelped Andrew. "Ayock," hollered Judy. An awful spray was shooting from the back of the insect's head and blasting the lizard's face. The lizard shook its head. In an instant, it sped down the tree trunk. The stick insect scurried higher up the tree trunk. "Eka! ECKUH!" Judy coughed. "It smells like peppermint, but it's awful, meep." "This bug called peppermint stick insect," said Thud. "Peppermint smell make lots of predators go away." Just then, the big purple button in the middle of Thud's chest started to blink. "Meep." "Unkai," said Thud. "Finally," said Judy. Thud's purple button popped open and a beam of purple light zoomed out. At the end of the beam floated a see-through purplish Uncle Owl. Uncle Owl's shaggy hair always looked like he had just pulled a sweater over his head. His face crinkled into a smile. "Hey there," he said with a wave. "Hey, Uncle Owl," said Andrew. "I'm away from my laboratory at the moment," continued Uncle Owl. "Oh no," said Judy. "It's not Uncle Owl. It's just his answering machine." "Your message has reached my hologram helper answering machine," said Uncle Owl. "If you're calling to have a friendly chat, please press 1. If you have discovered life on another planet, please press 2. If you're complaining about smells coming from my laboratory, press 3. If this is a purple button emergency, I will contact you as soon as I can." The Uncle Owl hologram waved. "Goodbye. Have fun. Think big." Then it disappeared. 4. No laughing matter. "Cheese Louise," said Judy. "Just when we need Uncle Owl, he's not there." Andrew tightened his grip on the peppermint stick insect. "For now, I guess we should stick with this bug," he said. "At least it's got a way to defend itself, and us too." As the stick insect climbed higher, the tree trunk became a forest. Mosses grew in velvety green patches and hung in gray strands. Fern fronds leaned over Andrew and Judy like lacy green umbrellas. As they passed dark holes in the tree trunk, Andrew heard noises scratching, tapping, hissing. Andrew imagined what was living deep inside the tree. He shivered. Came a sound like a wild party from the treetops. Meep. Laughing kookaburra bird, said Thud, pointing way above. A bird the size of a seagull landed on a branch nearby. Jumping gerbils, said Andrew. It looks as big as a pterodactyl. Then another kookaburra flew down, and then another. I'll bet they're looking for bugs, said Judy. The peppermint stick insect scuttled onto a branch and was scurrying around a mountain of brown fur. Andrew turned to see the kookaburras swooping toward them. Hope this bug has a lot of peppermint spray left, thought Andrew. The fir mountain next to them shook. In an instant, it unfolded itself into a black-faced, sharp-clawed creature that towered over them like King Kong. "Ya," hollered Judy. "Oh," Andrew gulped. "Meep." "Tree kangaroo," squeaked Thud. "Kinda kangaroo that always live in trees. Tree kangaroo leap far, far, far. Leap from tree to tree." The tree kangaroo crouched down, then sprang through the leaves. "Who? Who? Who?" The kookaburras scattered. The tree kangaroo's jump made the branch dip low, then spring up high and hard. "It's like I'm on a bucking bronco," thought Andrew, trying to hang on to the bug. But the branch bounced into a dangling vine that scraped Andrew and Judy off the stick insect. They were falling through the branches of the tree. "Yarg," hollered Andrew. "Yikes," screamed Judy. "Poof," shouted Andrew, landing on a leaf lower down in the tree. "Yuck," came a muffled screech from below. It was Judy. It sounded like she was inside a bottle. "Get me out of here." Andrew peered over the edge of the leaf, but he couldn't see Judy. "Where are you?" hollered Andrew. "Here,"